about this a lot, especially when we were talking about TakeOver at the top of the episode, which is just that first of all, Vince won't ever step down, I don't think, actively. Even when XFL starts picking up speed with that side project, he's going to have to. I feel like he will have to kind of die in order to be fully...
Yeah. I was just saying this too. I don't think he'll ever retire. Yeah.
But yeah, once Triple H takes over, I do think there will be a noticeable... And this is us a year away now from SmackDown being on Fox and not knowing what Fox is going to want from that particular brand on that show.
Yeah.
But Triple H, we already know, has a very different take and way of presenting wrestling. And it's a way that most fans appreciate a lot more. Maybe not a broader audience, but we'll have to see. I know we appreciate it more for certain.
Yeah, that's my question too is, it's our taste, but maybe Vince is right in that, because we talk about this with NXT too, again, because it's a little more broad and some of the more wacky characters can kind of be bigger there, and there might be a limit to that, and there might be something to Vince being like, we want a big, the reason he likes someone like Bobby Lashley, like we said, like he likes the big, strong guys, versus, the underdogs or the slightly more extreme characters. So, and maybe worldwide, that is the right move, because maybe the NXT has a limit to how far it can go as far as that style. But I still think, things would, if Triple H takes over fully one day, we will see some notable shifts. It won't be like everything's different, but yeah, we'll see some things tweaked along the way, with and probably for the better. Just as far as you get stagnant. It's like Vince is a complicated figure, but obviously he's done a lot of correct moves along the way and things that we would praise him for. But he's been doing it for a long, long time. So it's a question for probably years in the future, but hard not to ponder.
One day we will find out.
Yes.
Zach from Austin writes in with a very similar thing. We don't have to answer it directly because it kind of touches on the same thing. Big fan of the show, guys. Survivor Series surprised me a bit, to be honest, in a good way, but TakeOver was once again the star of the weekend. After watching on Saturday, I already felt bad for Sunday's show. Are we past the point of the main roster ever being more interesting than NXT? Many stars that shine so brightly in NXT fade away into nothingness when they're on the main roster. It is solely that the creative control is different, or the dumb reason of there being way too much main product. I think there's just so much. How can we keep calling up guys? This is what I want to ask you, Eric. We keep these call-ups, but nobody leaves.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, there aren't these layoffs. They happen every couple years. But, yeah, they're going to call up. We keep talking about, I think we were talking about last podcast, but, like, when is Undisputed Era getting called up? I'm like, where is there room for them?
Right,
it's like, who are we going to sacrifice?
Like, we're already noting that they're not doing anything with sanity, Yeah, it's like there's just only so much time,
Yeah, so Zach says if they could bite the bullet and trim the fat, it would be so much better. So Zach maybe actively calling for mass layoffs and everyone losing their jobs. But, that sounds totally shitty, and I get it. But, yeah, you have to have people in reserve to call up in case people leave or get injured and all that stuff. You always have to have a backup plan. But then you also can't just keep stuffing everyone into a one cabin Marx Brothers style. Like, you can't shove everyone together and then expect everyone to shine. They always want to have more than they need. But when that's the case, then our favorite superstars are usually the ones who get shoved down to the bottom. Jeff Not Emma writes in, Ween Joyers, you guys are missing the point of the Millennial Man label. Okay, so Jeff, by the way, where are you from? Maybe Jeff Not Emma gets
I know. We know from the past. I'm blanking, but he's definitely told us in the past.
Yeah, he gets a pass because he's been writing to us since channel surfing.
Yeah, and I know it's like in the back of my mind where he's from, but I'm blanking at the moment.
Is he from Forfar, Scotland, Eric?
No, he's an American, I believe.
Is he a Texan? Maybe he's a Texan. I feel like he's in the Southwest. Am I right, Jeff?
I don't know. That I can't remember.
Okay, so Rousey isn't making fun of millennials. she's making fun of the stereotypical non-masculine weakling stereotype and trying to rebrand Becky Lynch with that, the man title. Oh, I think we know that, Jeff. I just don't think it works.
Yeah, no matter what, it doesn't work, because I saw other people writing about this, but it doesn't work. Like, I think Brock's, but it was like, it's like, it doesn't work on a millennial attack, because as we said, Ronda's the same age as her, and there was the weird misguided, like, you had real jobs, which, yeah, just is like, yeah, she had to support herself, and also goes against any, like, millennials are entitled and lazy stereotype. And then it's like, is she trying to make it that what Uproxx's point was, I believe, was like, it's weird if she's trying to make it a gender thing, because no one thought, Becky Lynch saying, I am the man, was referencing Ric Flair and Charlotte Flair. To be the man, you got to beat the man, and she beat Charlotte, the daughter of the man. And also just being like, because it goes to the fact that, and this goes to age-old, gender stuff, but, that there is no the woman. You say you're the man, so she's like, well, I'm the man. But it wasn't, I don't think, supposed to be a bigger statement than that. So it's just, Ronda's attacks have been muddled and muddy. So it's like, whether it's like you're a millennial or you're a millennial man, it doesn't seem like it's not working. Like
does this make sense, Eric? I'm trying to word it right.
Yeah.
We already know she's not saying she's a man.
Right.
She's saying she's the man, as in sort of the idiom.
Yes.
The man, like the top dog, the whatever the top is, that's what it is. In this case, I'm using the moniker the man, sort of as an echo of Ric Flair. But then Ronda Rousey is coming at her like a Twitter follower who doesn't get a joke.
Yes.
Like,
especially because she said you have penis envy. That was really weird.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
It's like she's attacking the concept that we already know is a joke.
Right.
As if it were real, and as if Becky doesn't know it's a joke. It's like when a Twitter follower comes at you, doesn't understand that you're being sarcastic, and tries to correct it. That's a lot of actually of kind of how Ronda Rousey responds to people, where it's like somebody's having fun, and then Ronda Rousey like winds up with something that's kind of way too serious and dark, and it's like, whoa, okay, you obviously don't know how to do this snark back and forth the right way.
Right.
It kind of backfires on her a lot, because her tendency is to go a little too black and white and blatant. Does that make sense?
Oh yeah, no. I think that's exactly how it comes off. Yeah, for Becky to say I'm the man, and then Ronda say, oh, you've got penis envy. It's like, that's missing the point completely. Like, that has nothing to do, with what Becky's saying.
Yeah. LOL, you gay. Aw, like.
Right. Yeah. It's just like, you're. There's a good analogy as far as like, on Twitter, and we deal with this all the time. Everyone does, but the people who don't get when we're being sarcastic or try to like correct us for something that we were saying has a completely tongue-in-cheek thing.
Okay, so what would you like to talk about before we wrap up? Did you want to talk about Enzo Amore or something else?
No, I wasn't going to bring that up, although we could bring that up. I just wanted to mention, I mentioned earlier that there was a dark match. This is my first time being at SmackDown since I think I went in the spring. It was so weird because SmackDown hadn't been in Los Angeles in like 6 or 7 years. They mentioned it, and now they've been here twice this year. And when I went earlier this year, it was very badly done, I thought, on just a show flow level, because SmackDown, is only 2 hours, and on the West Coast, because it has to be live for the East Coast, that means it's 5 to 7, which is an oddly early time, like especially to like go to Staples Center, which is like kind of go downtown, pay a lot for parking, and go to this thing. It's like it's over at 7. But it never really is over at 7. But in the spring, what they were doing was it would lead into 205 Live. And of course, I'm sorry to 205 Live fans, but it's like a ton of the audience left, and those who stayed didn't have much energy, So it's like, and I'm sorry, it did lead into Mixed Match Challenge. We got one Mixed Match Challenge match, this is in the spring, followed by all of the 205 Live episode, but then it was just like everyone left, the momentum was dead. Well, now they switched it up, and this time 205 Live was the pre-show matches that were being taped. And then SmackDown, but then they had Paige come out because they were promoting Mixed Match Challenge. I go, oh, we're going to get Mixed Match Challenge, but then Paige came out and said, tonight we're having a main event of The Miz versus Daniel Bryan. And and I was like, oh, wait a second. They've been promoting Randy versus, this is before Randy versus Rey Mysterio. I was like, well, that's the main event of SmackDown. But we must be getting like another main event, and basically it's telling people to stay through Mixed Match Challenge because you're going to get Daniel Bryan versus The Miz. So that's what they did. So we had the 2 Mixed Match Challenge matches, which are fun and goofy, and the crowd was very they're still ready to chant "What's up" back to R-Truth. But then we got Daniel Bryan versus The Miz, and it was interesting because you had a couple things going on. You had Daniel Bryan had just done his full heel promo, where he did like turn on the crowd fully, and you also had The Miz, who was in LA, which is his adopted hometown, and had already been received well earlier in the night. But this was very funny because the crowd was so pro Miz, and it was all Miz is awesome. It was Miz leading the yes chants to the crowd. The crowd, very against Daniel Bryan, who was working the heel angle, and not only would he not do the yes thing, he acted like he was, and then he like put his hands on his hips when he got in the ring. And so yeah, it was just very fun and funny, and I don't know if Miz will ever work fully. I mean, he's just a natural heel, but it was interesting because at the end of the match, it was a DQ ending. Daniel Bryan low blowed Miz. He went again for the low blow, but this time it was seen by the ref, and so it ended with Miz wins by DQ. Daniel Bryan keeps the title, but then he grabs the mic, Daniel Bryan, and he's like, "Now I'm gonna kick Miz in the face." But then this time Miz turns and he low blows Daniel Bryan, and the crowd goes wild. And it was and then Miz gave like a little speech about how this is like the best reaction I've ever gotten, and thank you LA for 4 nights in a row. And so that was just kind of a funny alternate reality thing. And the other thing I forgot to mention was the Fickle thing.
Oh,
which
Fickle?
Bryan,
yeah.
Daniel Bryan did during his big promo on SmackDown, but he also did it during the dark match. At the top of the match, he was like, he had the mic, and he's like, Fickle, 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 and I really want them to make a Fickle, Fickle, Fickle shirt, looks like the Yes, Yes, Yes shirt. But he was like, see, this is what I'm talking about. 3 months ago, you were cheering me to punch Miz in the face, but now you're cheering for him. And I enjoyed that. So that was my little dark match story.
Fickle is Einhorn, and Einhorn is fickle.
Right.
Look at you guys in Los Angeles feeding the Miz's ego.
I know.
Like he needs that. It is interesting because so much of the Miz's career he's done in spite of people, because he's been a heel his entire career, pretty much. I think with brief splashes of babyface.
Yeah.
But yeah, so everything he's done is because people have been booing him, and he wants to show them up. Like, what would happen if actually people got behind him? He wouldn't know what to do.
Right.
Like,
right.
He's been feeding off hatred so long. Like, what does love do to him? Like, it makes him crumble. Yeah, briefly, I don't know what they're doing with him and Shane McMahon. I want to be the best tag team in the world, which I guess is different from previously the world's greatest tag team, Sheldon Benjamin and Charlie Haas.
Yes.
But so is it leading to a match between him and Shane, possibly? Or are they really going to be a tag team? I don't know.
Yeah. And again, weird to have Shane on, and all he did was praise him for his performance, but there was no discussion about, but SmackDown lost 6 matches.
Yeah, I thought he was going to berate Shane because he was the last one to get pinned.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, you lost it for us.
Yeah, it was just, I will say, though, the only real way it was acknowledged, like, I feel like SmackDown's results, and it was just a weird, funny one-off, was New Day's were the 1-6-1,
yeah.
which I thought was a funny callback to Paul Heyman and Brock.
Xavier Woods, I tweeted out the night before that Usos, because they were the one who won that match, should call themselves the 1-6-1, but they Xavier Woods was all over Twitter constantly with 6-1 and complaining about it, like, online a lot, because it was just such a weird, confounding thing. I also do appreciate his shout out to his 2 terabyte hard drive, which allows him to upload Red Dead and not have to delete Spider-Man, because I can relate to that. And I guess we don't have to talk about Enzo Amore, really, other than to say that he's doing great.
Yes.
He's in a good place, and he's not causing problems. He's not getting kicked off planes for vaping. He's not getting kicked out of arenas filled with 13,000 people.
Where he stands up in the chair and tries to get people to pay attention to him?
Yeah, he is in no way going back to the place that fired him and causing his